Hi there, and welcome to the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout is the time that we have fun and entertainment, and yet we learn about issues that concern us as young people. You know, as we say, we went on the Springboard Hangouts, we hang out with Ghana's achievers and find out how do they make it and what can we learn from it. I am your host, Comfort Ocran. We are continuing our series on your talent, your craft, and we are continuing to attempt to unravel the Niyama Paradox. And someone would ask, what is the Niyama Paradox? Well, the other day during George Quay's session on the Hangout, he made a bold assertion that there are members of our society who are called Niyama, and they are shining or they are creating impact in their various spheres of influence, and therefore we called it the Niyama Paradox. And we went on a little quest, and we found out that we brought people into the studio. This evening, we're hanging out with one huge Niyama, and I can tell you, he's someone who is celebrated for the passion that he exudes when he's doing his craft. When he's on stage, the worship that he brings forth to those of us who watch, and most importantly, the blend of originality. He is one of the first gospel artists to win a VGMA to win the VGMA Artist of the Year, the highest titles given or awarded to people within the music industry. Therefore, if you are with me today and you want to find out more and how you can take your talent and make it a craft that can go before kings and men, do stay with us. I will come back right after this, and when I come back, you know I don't need to introduce the person. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me where you are joining us from, and we'll give you a shout out. If you have a question for my Niyama for today, please send that as well. Join us on our Facebook Live page, Comfort Ocran A, on Springboard RS, and we will definitely have a fantastic time. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. I think that gave the music gave the person away. We are privileged to be hanging out today with Joseph. The full name, let me give you the full name, okay? Then we'll give you the stage name or the artist name. Joseph Oscar Nii Armah Mettle. Mettle. Indeed, the one and only Joe Mettle that we know world over. He's got about 20 awards across the world,
probably more,
and counting, more. And more. And he's been practicing his craft, at least professionally, as a solo artist for the past 20 years or 10 years.
15 years.
15 years. We have somebody who has been through the mill. Joseph, or Joe Mettle, or as someone that I found out, he's my friend as well, he calls you Kettles.
I guess people decide to tune my name in.
But JM, welcome to Springboard Hangout.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, I think one thing that whilst I was working on our time out today, our hangout today, and as I kept playing your music, I found myself, teary. So I was during the production meeting today, I was telling the people that if you see me crying, because there's so much depth in what you do. Tell me, who are you?
Who am I? My name is Joseph Oscar Mettle, like you said. Obviously, I can't leave the Niyama out.
No, Niyama, the paradox, you have to answer the paradox.
So, Niyama Mettle, I'm a Ga. I'm actually 100% Ga. Both parents are Gas. Funny enough, both parents come from the same town, which is Ocran.
Okay.
Just different homes, but then the same place. I'm the eldest of 6. My basic introduction would then say I'm a worshiper by calling, but I'm a marketer by profession.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes I get to couple it with construction on my leisure time. Sometimes I take up jobs like that once in a while because I guess sometimes I feel bored in terms of leaving that side of me. So that's me, basically. So everything else will be dived into as we go on.
Thank you for that short summary. But guys, you need to find out more. And what I want to find out more is sometimes people see you at the top or where, I know this is still a road to climb, but where you are right now is at the top of your stagecraft. And people see you there and think that you've always enjoyed the limelight. I know that it didn't start that easy for you. Can you tell us a bit about that time in your life when you had to be selling wache leaves to survive for just even school? I want people to hear that.
It was the early stages of my life where I grew up with my mom mostly, and so it was what I saw her do. You know, my mom used to sell the leaves for wache and rice back in the day. Then rubbers were not introduced. So normally very early in the morning, I had to get the leaves supplied to my clients. So I had like different people who sold. And
your clients were wache people?
Wache and rice. So
okay.
It was everything. So we sold to wache people, we sold to bean sellers, we sold to rice. So it was the leaf.
Yeah.
So
and I love my wache in the leaf.
I heard most people, normally people would testify and say that the smell and then the mold.
Yes.
Yeah, so people like it when they open and it's molded in that shape. So I remember. And so you would normally have to supply all of them very early in the morning. Sometimes what I do is when I have to go to school in the morning, I supply very early, then I get to go to school. So after school, then during the time I'm coming back home, I go back to them to collect the money for all the supplies. Sometimes you supply the day before, and then the following day when you go back to supply the next one, you collect the money for the previous supply. So I guess for me, it's always been, I've always had the opportunity of doing business, even when I was young. And so that was...
And we are talking about what age at this moment?
Oh, this was probably maybe 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
Yeah.
So then 11 or 12, you were hustling for survival.
Yes.
I want to say survival because you were kicked out of school sometimes.
Oh, yes, several times.
Several times?
Several times. I mean, at a point, I literally had to lie to my mom about me going to school because I was tired of she always coming to the school and crying and pleading that they keep me and not like sack me from, because then sometimes like today I look back and I wonder how that happened, because some of the fees were not that, like in today's day you're talking about maybe 60 Ghana or 70 Ghana, so because of that you have to be sacked and sometimes not able to take examinations and on and on. So that was it.
So it did have an effect on the smooth
flow of my
education.
Yes, definitely.
So then, in a sense, you had to pause, go back, and go back.
Yes.
And therefore, you were not able to finish the SHS or as we have it now.
So from the beginning, some of these things started when I was in primary school, because I remember when we used to sell leaves, I used to go to Richard Akwe Memorial School back in the day at Galloway. You know, so that was where it was. And then after we stopped selling that, we moved to Koligono, where I joined St. Michael's and All Angels Anglican School. Same issue. Fortunately for me, I was able to go to JHS, which was at Koligono 3. Same thing. And I saw the same pattern every time. She coming to school, pleading, you know, because we were selling different things based on the season that changed. So at a point, the leaves were not working anymore because the rubbers had come to the system. So I had to stop selling that. We started then selling canes and kerosene at night. You sell canes and sponge and other things during the day. And that too went down the drain over time. And then that was when I started selling the wache, because then my mom then will cook the wache, bring it to the roadside, and I will be selling it. So I sell in the morning normally when I have afternoon shifts in school, and then if I have to go in the morning, it means I have to wake up early, help out, do stuff, and then go to school, and then.
So we have a wache leaf seller, we have a wache seller, and then you're sharing challenges that you had. What kind of person did it make you become? Because having the challenge, I mean, people have challenges, and the challenges break them. Did the challenge break you?
Oh,
what did it do to you?
It didn't, because little did I know that there was a time God was bringing me into where I needed the expertise of valuing every little sale, every little increase with respect to what was in my hands and what I had to sell. I mean, one of the things that really helped, I remember very well, my mom, it started as me doing it by myself, and then later my mom said, I already know what you're doing, but make sure that it doesn't affect our clients, where I'm giving the leaves. It was already like tied.
Packaged.
Before I go, I find my own small place, losing all of them again.
And repackage.
And repackage. By the time I finish packaging, I get like
5
1
extra.
or 2, and that was my profit, and I kept it. No. I mean, because every little money was valued, I never wasted money when I was growing up, because I valued every penny, no matter how small. And growing up, one of the things I got to even realize about the investment was the fact that investment had nothing really, even though the more you have, the better. It was not necessarily about how much you had, but how consistent you saved.
Yeah.
And so it helped me know those small, monies that I received, I was able to save them in the course of my year. So when, by God's grace, more started coming, I had learned that years ago when I used to do this small or petty kind of sales.
So you're not wasteful with your funds.
Not
you
at
know
all.
exactly what you do with it as you go along.
Yes.
Fantastic. So you've done this. You've found you're surviving somehow, barely. Then you start playing music at church as a drummer. Was it something was it an escape route? Was it a way to forget what the house was like? Or was it something that you felt you were led to do?
I think the beginning was a drive. I've always been drawn to music.
You've always been drawn to music?
Yeah, so I remember back in the day when we used to stay at the book home area, I literally would go stand at the back of the church window, just like there was something I felt was drawing me in when it came to music. Even though the young, we used to be in this spiritual church back in the day. I joined the choir at that time, so but then I didn't even know what I was doing. But over time, I always knew there was something musical about because it did something inside of me each time.
Yeah.
So finally, when I got the chance, I learned how to play the instrument. It wasn't an escape. I think for me, it was just passion.
Okay.
I love how it's done.
Okay.
And so over time, I realized that you can actually go beyond just enjoying it to making money out of it. So that was how it started. Okay, I can play and be paid because me and Cheney in film. So if there's an escape route of the fact that I could make money out out of my passion, why not? So that was how it started. So it had nothing to do with ministry. It had nothing to do. No. It was a play and pay.
But then you see, there's a saying that says that if you have the opportunity to do what you love. And you
be paid for it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's the best combo ever.
Yes.
Yeah. So you give credence to that. I mean, Martin Luther King said that music is the art of the prophet and the gift from God. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yes. It's a gift. It's always been you see how sometimes people ask you, say, how do you know this note harmonizes this?
Yeah.
Or how do you know if it's this, it should be done that way? And apart from what you've learned, you know that there are some of the things, it wasn't really learned. Like you don't even know how to explain it. You just know. I just know this is how it's supposed to be. It's a gift.
It's a knowing.
Yes, it's a gift and that to you by God. So
then, so you had the opportunity. you realized that you had a gift. You started pursuing it. And did you just decide, okay, once I've discovered it doesn't matter if I just play and I'm paid, that's enough? Or did you one day say, okay, is there somewhere bigger to aspire to? And what led to the aspiration?
Okay, so for me, like I said from the beginning, it was just to make ends meet. I found something in addition to all the education I was trying to pursue and all that. So I was going for it until I had an encounter with God, where it was like there was more to what I have given you than what you're using it for. There's a bigger picture. If only you would pursue this, the things that you intend to have, I will give them to you. You know, so rather than pursuing the resources, God gave me the opportunity to pursue Him.
Okay.
And then the resources followed. But it does not mean that everything was spiritual. There was also other sides that I had to also pursue, which is knowledge, which is hard work, which is sacrifice, which is service, and on and on.
So you pursued hard work, sacrifice, service. Which of your service, in terms of, I know you served a bit under the late Danny Nete, whose song is Sick Tune. Yeah, and then you also served with...
I served with Soul Winners.
And then you served with...
Cindy Thompson.
Cindy Thompson. How was serving with Cindy Thompson?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, when I joined Cindy's team, I was so eager to learn that I didn't care what brought me in. Because around that time, they didn't have the opportunity for me to sing with them. So the only opportunity I had to join the team was to play percussion. And I was a drummer before, so it's fine. I didn't care. I was like, I just want in. That's all. Because I was so ready to learn and ready to add up to myself. Because I knew that where I was going, I couldn't just get up and go. I needed to sharpen my axe enough to be able to cut. So I was willing to do anything to go down and learn. And so that was the opportunity so in fact, I really never got to sing with Cindy.
Okay.
Like during the time I was part of the team. I was a percussionist through and through. So
then you are based, so then in order that you may abound. But here you are, you have, and that time you're not playing like the percussionist is not as elite as as a drummer.
As a drummer. At that time, the one who is my drummer today, which is Bludo, was the drummer with Cindy. Okay. And I assisted him as the percussionist. That was how far I was willing to go to learn. So today, like, Bludo is my drummer. He's been my drummer for years. And Bludo was the drummer, and I was his assistant.
Wow. I have Theophilus, we have Theophilus who's saying, I'm joining live from KNUST. It's been a long time since I joined the program. So today you see one of our old members back. Welcome back, Theo, and don't go away again. We'll be expecting to see you next week and the week following. And then Harmony, Seiram, Atisha says that 2 of my favorite people. Oh, you miss me. Oh, thank you, Harmony. I also miss you. And I can't wait every Thursday evening to come your way. Promise Fiajibbe says that I'm right here with you, Joe Mettle, and you're watching us live from Ashaman, Lebanon. And Promise is one of our favorites, our regulars. Promise, good to see you today as well. And Theresa Edward says the experience, hardship, and deliverance will change a person. And Israel says that, wow, inspiring. This is Israel Tete Olego. Thank you for joining us today. David Edu says that my question. Okay, you have a question for Joe already, so I'll pause. David, thanks for joining in. Thanks for your question. I'll come to it when we get to more question time. And then Mike Lotte says that seeking first and all other things shall be added. That is what it is. So he's agreeing with you so much. And Niyama says, play and pay. And she
yeah, that one.
You definitely have to play and pay, right? And more. You are come and thank you so much for all your comments that you are sending in. We will continue with a question time for Joe. So Joe, we have you having learned from Cindy, and for that, it didn't mean you didn't go there with your ears. So guys, sometimes when even though you may be talented, you know you have the gifts. If you want an opportunity on a team, and sometimes the only space available to you is for sweeping the floor, because you know what you need to learn, let's think about abasing.
Oh yes.
So that we can abound.
Yes. Because you see, the thing with service that I've realized is it's the humility that it comes with.
Yeah.
So that sometimes would bring you to a place where originally you wouldn't have wanted to be. But the question is, does it gives you access to what you want to learn or where you want to learn from?
Yeah.
I mean, even though it was a percussion position, I got to travel with them. I got to hang around with them. I got to learn the things that I needed to learn, and add to myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have to necessarily sing. I just had to get access to learn. Yeah. And that was all that there is, So that's what. So sometimes you may not get, okay, you want to be an accountant in a particular firm and you want to serve in that firm. Maybe they don't have a position for an intern for accounting, but maybe they have a position for like a front desk attendant. That gives you access to all the people that you want to learn from.
Yeah.
And sometimes you know how they mingle with. The whole point is it gives you access to the firm. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I know someone who had a master's and went as a security person. And was there, and when sometimes you would see an issue that the firm is grappling with, and so I think if we look at it from this angle, small info, then they start looking at it and say, how do you know this? And through that, he's now moved into the mainstream. This is a big firm where he's now settled.
It's because there's where did I hear this? I think I just heard it today. I think it was the video that was playing earlier. How even in prison, Joseph was still serving in prison.
Yes.
He was in prison, so he could have decided to keep his expertise to himself. But it was out of service in prison that even made somebody remember. That guy. There was a guy whilst I was in prison that was able. So. Out of that same post, I was like, the last time the security guard, and they said they are looking for somebody to reference.
Exactly.
Out of that place where you call nothing, so. That's
a powerful statement. So then, let me ask Joe. Let me ask David's question. David says that you say consistency is one thing that. He says that he's noticed that consistency is one thing that is a critical factor in your ministry. He wants to know what helps you maintain your consistency.
I would say not forgetting how I got here. It's basically not ever ignoring or forgetting how I got here and who got me here. So I never get to a place where I'm like, okay, now I think I know. Now I'm an expert in this. No. You see, whatever you do that keeps you going or keeps moving you up, the higher you go, the more you should do that.
The more you should do that. You shouldn't stop?
No. The more you should actually do it. So
the higher you go.
The higher you go, because you see, probably the beginning you needed less effort because it was your beginning. But the higher you go, the more difficult it becomes. So the more you need that source.
Okay.
Because the weight of the top is heavier than the weight beneath. So when you get to the top, you actually need more support than you used to. You need more wisdom than you used to. You need more strength than you used to. So that's the reason, you actually need more of what and who brought you where you are. And so that's what it's been for me. So in my case, I would say that it's been God. And so the higher I go, the deeper I need to know him. The more I need to know him. Because then the understanding of the knowledge of him is what keeps me going.
But what about your music? Do you practice less?
Oh, yes. No. You don't practice less. Because the higher you go, the more advanced the knowledge you need to be able to operate. Because back in the day, maybe you just put one or two things together and it just flies. In this day and age, you can't just put one or two and it will fly. Because you see, the higher you go, the deeper of the understanding of the interpretation of what you do, people expect from you. And even the more of God you need. So I now need to know the new technologies that go on. I now need to even trust God for even a deeper understanding of writing and interpreting His word. I now need to dig deeper into the higher level of sound outputs, arrangement, production. So it doesn't, because sometimes you know how like people say, they'll go to maybe some of the people I work with and say, I want the same thing you did for him. He said, if you only know what went into what you're hearing, because sometimes some of the people even are like, we're spending too much or we're doing too much. Because you do a pre-production, even before the live recording is done.
Yeah.
The production itself, things that goes into it, you wipe away some of the things that you've already recorded on post-production and do overdubs, corrections. Then we're talking about mix, back and forth, things being taken out, things added. Then you go to mastering before even the main product is ready. So it's a lot.
The higher you go, the more you require to stay there. So then people who sometimes see people at the top as Joe Mettle and say, oh, as for them, they are cool. They don't have to think about anything. Please, today, getting your talents honed is one thing. Getting your talent recognized is another thing. Getting your talent to help you maintain that which you have done is also another thing. So don't just think that when you have the talent, you discover your talent, you leave it and that's it. No, you need to polish it and you need to maintain the
You need to be connected to the things. I mean, one of my favorite quotes from Mars Morrow.
Okay.
He says that the guarantee, he said it in a different way, but I try to always say it in my own way, that the guarantee of the constant flow of your resources is dependent on your constant connection to the source of your resource.
The guarantee
of the constant flow of your resources is dependent on your connection to your source, or the constant connection to your source of the resource.
Of the resource.
So where is it coming from? If I know where it's coming from and I'm connected there, I would constantly have to be connected there to guarantee that the resource that I'm enjoying, the good, the consistency, the successes, and all that people would testify of each day, it's coming from a connected source. So if I can guarantee that source to flow or continue flowing, I need to be sure that I'm always connected. Because once I'm disconnected, I'm cut off from the resource.
Okay. So, for instance, we are now watching my everything on your screen, and this is a very sharp video. I love it.
Thank you.
I think I even love the way they were boogieing. Guys, can you give us some music? Oh, Charlie, you are playing the thing without giving me any music. I need some music to boogie right now. That's one video that indeed shows the growth of the craft. Because if viewers were watching at the beginning, we showed Joe Mettle with Inshira. Even the face, the baby face that you see there.
But you see, funny enough, that time during those days, it was a heavy video, pal. This one, because how sharp it is, and this was probably like
2011.
Yes. At that time, it was, but the face.
No, look at baby face.
Yeah, look at my neck.
Look at your neck.
God has tried for me.
God has indeed tried for
He's
Joe
really
Mettle.
tried for me.
So we will pause here and go for the Game Changer. The Game Changer by Jojo Ocran. It looks today at embracing competition, and we would ask Joe when we return, how has competition aided, or we will not talk about the other one. How has competition been for him? Let's go and watch competition, embracing competition by Jojo Ocran.
We were neck and neck approaching the finish line, and I was grateful for my rival. Morning walks are the perfect way to wake up. Most days, I wake up at 6 and walk 15 minutes to a nearby KFC. Walks are great exercise, but they're also time to think and appreciate nature's beauty. But observing beauty makes it hard to focus on exercise. And yesterday was harder than usual. I'd only slept 3 hours and was tempted to skip my walk. But I showed up anyways. At my junction, I spotted a man in a Barca jersey. His tights and headband screamed exercise walker, so I decided to use Barca Man as a pace setter and overtake him. Today, our game changer is embracing competition. Passing Barca Man was easier said than done. He was rapid, but I was determined. So I shook the sleep from my eyes and gave chase. Step by step, the gap closed until I overtook him. Victory! Or so I thought. As I slowed down, all I heard was doom, 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 as his footsteps drew closer. Before I could blink, he had passed me. And so it went, as we overtook each other and walked ever faster, pushing each other in a silent tug of war. But as the KFC approached, we were matching each other stride for stride, and spotting the finish line, I pushed that little bit harder and beat him. While basking in my victory, I saw the number 13 blinking on my watch. Racing with Barca Man had forced me to shave 2 whole minutes off my best time. It's easy to be afraid of competition, but sometimes being neck and neck is what takes you to the next level. So embrace the challenge. This has been the Game Changer with Jojo Ocran. Have a phenomenal week.
Thank you so much, Jojo, for your game changer, and welcome back from that game changer break. You know, as well, just we were going to break, I said I'd like to ask you, how do you view competition? I mean, in your field, and sometimes your competition is not just the gospel artists. You know, it is also if when you go to VGM, you know, it's all that kind of.
How do I put this? I would say that. There would always be people who happen to be ahead in what you do.
Yeah.
There will be people who have probably achieved or chalked some strides in what you do. So there would always be that competition. Sometimes it's here and there. Who's the best? Who's this at that? Who is But the competition has to be healthy. One of the things. Competition is good. Sometimes it makes you not relax. Because there are times that sometimes you get to a place where you are very comfortable and you feel like you are the
chief.
You know, they'll say you are the Ugbo in the, you know. And so it has to be healthy where it pushes you to be better. Like
how it did.
You know, given. But at the same time, competition, even being good, has also a little of a distractive element. Which sometimes if you're not careful, and that is why I say it has to be healthy.
Yeah.
Because competition has a way that it makes you so much focus on the other person rather than focusing on yourself and what you need to attain. There's always a mark for every individual. Sometimes the people we actually compete with are actually not the benchmark.
Yeah. Yeah, and it reminds me of I was listening to you earlier somewhere else, and you were saying that when you won the VGMA, people said that you really had to do something.
Yes.
And you said,
there's a mark.
That's not me. I mean, I have my plan for the year, and therefore I'll follow my plan. It's good to know that I am here, and therefore there's a benchmark, but I will not follow that benchmark. And so which album did you release that year? Okay.
That was the Bononi album.
Okay.
And it became like one of the biggest I had.
Yeah.
I could have been distracted and said, because they're pushing me, I need to do something. You see, when others are doing something that makes you feel competitive, it should rather push you to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because, you see, there's a reason why they are being patronized over you. It's because they're best at what they do. So you can compete in the industry, but don't compete in the image.
Yeah.
Allow your image to be. One story that I once read of was this guy who was running, same analogy of the race. And he was running And then he saw this guy who was running, and he wanted to outrun him. The more he pushed, the faster the guy ran. But he tried very hard, so he outran the guy. Kept going, kept going. But a few minutes after he had run, realized something, that he has missed his turn.
That's it.
So
he was so focused on the competition, he forgot where he was going. And then in the end...
So now this is what happened. He missed his turn. Mm-hmm. He now had to waste time to run back to his turn. But bear in mind that during that turn, there were other people that were running behind him.
In the same industry, so
the same thing. So whilst he was distracted in trying to outrun, he missed a turn. Now he had to join the queue behind, because there were people that were behind that, out of concentration on what direction they were running, left. So first of all, he wasted time in outrunning someone. He wasted another time in running back to join his turn. And so it's very, very important that out of the times that we're trying to beat other people, trying to be better than other people, we never lose sight of our own path and our own direction.
Fantastic point. Fantastic point, Joe. Dave Edu says that, I'm sure you miss your Shabo days. Shabo apparently
it's pay and play. No, and then in addition to that, Shabo was when we were just all over the place. It's like every gospel rock show.
Niyama says that life and God is good. Daniel Macrabi says that great production, clean camera. Oh, thank you. Quality host, great guest. I just say kudos. Thank you. We are grateful. We are grateful, Daniel. Kafui Milsodoy says a fantastic insight. And then Daniel Macrabi says that my question is, can you write and sell gospel songs in the fraternity? I'm not sure.
What's fraternity?
Exactly. I'm not sure what fraternity he's referring to. Daniel, if you could come back and kindly clarify it, we'll be very grateful so that we can answer it. Amma says, I'm not forgotten where you come from. That's very important. And Emmanuel Jediabra says that, Comfort, thank you for being, oh, thank you. Says thank you for being an amazing host. Thank you so much. Kenneth on Zoom is saying that I couldn't just get up and go deep. Joseph, and he says that Joseph has been mentioned twice. My study starts tomorrow. Please, when you study Joseph Zafnafania, you will find some real deep insights. I encourage you, and share it with us on my. You can either send it to either his inbox or my inbox, and we'll definitely continue the conversation there. Dave Edu says that. Kojo Edu says that, like I always say, music is constantly evolving. So there's no point you can come to and say you have arrived musically, and we agree with that. And he says that knowledge is progressive, always there, and you can't grow beyond the knowledge you have in your head. Hey, Theresa Edwards says that when Joe meant she's asking, when is our next album? Release.
I'm sure God willing, next month, God willing, we should have a new album. I'm working to see if I can get a single out before the end of the month.
Oh, please.
So
please release it.
But this one is a guy.
No. Yes. Release it for my birthday. Release it for my birthday, 25th June.
I'm sure it was June. That's the album. Around that time, the album should be ready.
I've put up my hands.
So a new album is coming.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, yes. Theresa, thank you very much. We've got a hint here that a new album coming up soon. There's a single coming out, but then the full album. And you have about 11 albums out right now, isn't it?
No, I am 6.
6.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But
There were songs. I mean, so as songs there.
Songs, I know they are 40 plus.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So Mbazi Emmanuel says that I love the Joseph's analogy. He served his brother, served in Potiphar's house, and even in prison, and ultimately he served the Pharaoh. I've learned commitment and consistency from this. Thank you, Minister Joe. You are blessed indeed. Much love. They're asking if we can have you back.
Oh, I'm sure.
Definitely. Joe Mettle. We do things. Gifty Agra says that's such a brilliant analogy. Well done, Joe. And then, people are really enjoying your conversation today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And then Amadou Azuma Bryce says that God bless you for this great revelation. I've learned a lot this evening. Didi, oh, thank you. Says you love my blondie. Thank you. Okay, so Reverb Station, Reverb Studios. Yes. When did you start it?
Wow, I've never really thought about it. I think it started somewhere in 2013.
2013.
I think 2013 was when we started, because we started having issues where we had to rehearse, and normally the church rehearsal was difficult because sometimes we had to wait for a service to be over. Some of my team members came from far. It's like, that is where obviously, by God's grace, I'm a creative, so I find solutions in problems. So I was like, why not get a place where we can do ourselves? And then that was where we started the first Reverb Studios. It started for us, and then we started opening it up to other people. And then over time, we opened another Reverb Studios, by God's grace. And that time, we were even renting. But today, by God's grace, the Wager studio that we're able to open, we were able to purchase the property and then create. So that's like a whole house that has different compartments of the studios, live streaming area, there's a recording studio, there's a rehearsal studio, the offices, even places where people can stay overnight if they want to, and all that. And then quite recently, we're able to also bring one to town where we opened one in Osu, and then So.
And then we had a challenge, short challenge.
Short challenge. So the one that the people that occupy the property before us used it for a salon, and I think one of the pipes was not disconnected. We thought it was. So when the pressure of the pipes came out, it started flooding the place. But it's just a minor challenge. We'll fix it.
We'll fix it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most important thing.
We'll fix it, and I'm willing, because I even have new ideas over it. So I'm coming to, You would use the challenge to bring up a whole new idea.
So, so in that particular instance, when you have a challenge, you're telling us that challenges. What should you do with challenges?
I see opportunities in challenges.
Opportunities in challenges. And therefore,
so there's a problem. I find if I can solve it, that's an opportunity for me to bring solution to that problem.
Fantastic. So then, here we are. We have challenges, and we've got consistency. One of the values that we look for. We've looked at serving, and not just waiting to serve at the top, but then being able to humble yourself, just like Christ did. He humbled himself so that then became a human, so that he can.
He said even him, he came to serve, not to be served.
Not to be served. Fantastic. So then we know that, are these the only values to help one stay relevant? What other things?
Hard work.
What other values, or what other attitude should we embrace to help us hone our craft and remain relevant in wherever we serve in our various spheres?
I would say upgrade. Like we said, knowledge is progressive. Upgrade. There's always new ideas. Fortunately, in this season that we're living on, this time and age, internet has made knowledge so much accessible. Read, research, do all those things. And then one of the things too I've realized is people get tired easily. I think sometimes even when they feel like they are being pushed around one or two times, they're like, you know what, I'm done.
That's it, I'm done.
I can't do this anymore. It's too difficult. No, then you are not ready for where you want to get to. Hard work is part of it. Sometimes it gets tiring. There's been sleepless nights. I mean, before then it was easier. It was just me. Now I'm married, but sometimes you see she's asleep and I'm still in the living room praying, writing, researching, trying to get things done. I'm sure some of the songs that we do, she would, even though it's a good thing, she would hear it too many times because a mix comes in, something comes, I have to fix something, trying to write a verse, go back at dawn because sometimes I'm asleep and the thing, I would wake up, get back, trying to fix it. And so it comes with a lot of, and that's what I spoke about, sacrifice. You will sacrifice your sleep, you sacrifice, sometimes you are tired, but there's a deadline you need to meet for something that you have to do. How bad do you want it? God may have given you the vision. You see, one of the scriptures says, he's the one that gives us the power to acquire wealth. In other translations, it says the power to make. First, he gives you the power, which in translation, it says that power is ideas, innovation, creativity, all those things. When you check the root of that power in that space, not the dunamis, but it speaks about that. But then he says after he's giving you the power, which is the idea, all the things, there's a process that he's not part of. You would have to make it. The power to make, the power to acquire. So the acquisition process is what we're talking about, the hard work, the creativity, the sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the juggling of the mind, trying to put things in order, work, fixing it and failing, creating and failing. Sometimes the same thing, you'd have done it over and over and over and over before you get it right.
How do you keep on still doing it? How do you keep your spirits up when you feel you've failed too many times?
I think sometimes for me it's what I have seen ahead of what I'm doing. That is why it's very important. You see, I've seen the final product because I'm working with the author and finisher. So I've seen it. He showed me how. So I am confident that it would work. I was telling you, a lot of the things that by God's grace I've been able to do, they came out of some of disappointments. They came out of people letting you down. So I worked it once. Somebody I did with didn't see it through to the end, let me down. It failed. God directs me to another person I work with. Sometimes it fails again, even for myself. I do it over and over and over and over again. Somebody will say a hit song. Do you know how many songs sometimes you release that were not hits? How many places you've been to that you ministered and it felt like somebody could come to you and say, what did you think you were doing?
Oops.
But
Did that actually happen?
Oh yes, I've had. I was invited by a friend. I always tell the story. I was invited by a friend to a church, to their church. Because I went somewhere to minister, and he was so blessed. He said, "Listen, my church will be so blessed by you. Come." When I got there, the pastor looked at me from head to toe. He didn't say anything to me. He said it to my friend. Do you think we are joking here? Do you think we are playing here? You see, this is what it is. I could be discouraged by it and say, you know what, this ministry thing is not for me. Oh, but I went back. I said, because one day he will see me. One time he called. It's like, man of God, you are blessed. Man of God. I could have, and then he said, our church will be blessed. And then when he mentioned the church, I said, I mentioned that. He said, you know my ministry. Wow. But you see, he doesn't know how I know the church. If he only knew. But you see, I could have decided that could have just
been the end of the road for you.
But it encouraged me. It is not every bad thing that happens to you that is bad.
Okay.
All things work together for the good of all. The good, the bad. You see, some of us, I'm sure that if not for some of the bad things that happen to us, we would not be where we are. Because probably in that space of time, we would have been too comfortable.
Yeah.
Because we see things just moving up for us in that way. But God had to hit us sometimes. God, and I call it the provocation point. You need someone to sometimes provoke you. Reverb, part of when we started renting equipment, it was because somebody kept disappointing me. And sometimes the person kept tossing us around. We'll rent stuff. And then the way we'll even be treated, we are paying for it too. And the things will come late. One day I went to the back of the building when we were still having the service because it wasn't my turn. I knelt and I said, God, a year by this time, give me my own. I prayed that, and God just started giving me ideas. But that same business idea, like we said, being able from the beginning, the things I went through, knowing how to value little that comes into my hand. That was how I started.
Yeah.
So by God's grace, around that time, something kept coming. We had some things that, like a service thing.
Yeah.
That was small money.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? That was my seed
Straight.
money, and I started.
Yeah. This has been a fantastic conversation. And believe it or not, our time is almost up.
Oh, you see?
You know, that time is almost up. So this one, you have to do it very quick. I didn't even ask you the fire questions.
Okay.
So yeah, this one, it will have to be quick. Daniel McRabai says that what is your take, and this one a quick one, on doing collab with secular musicians?
My music is a pulpit for me.
It's a pulpit for you.
So
yeah.
I move
you
as
guard
God
it that
directs
way.
me.
Yeah.
Yes. If God says I should, but until then, no.
Okay. So Dave Kojo Edu says that on your first album you had a title called Awareso, but why didn't you sing it at your wedding?
Oh, I don't even know why. We were going to do it, but in fact, the whole wedding became a concert. So
right. So, Joe, I would like you to give us your final words as we wrap up today. What would be your final words to us?
My final word would be...
And by the way, your final word, I want to encourage somebody who may feel that he or she is at the lowest point in the life and needs a word of encouragement.
I just want to say, do not be discouraged. God never promised that we will not face any challenge. You see, but in all that, one sure promise is the fact that He's always with us. He will not leave, nor will He forsake us. And also, I just want to encourage you, look at that challenge around you. There's a testimony inside of it. You see, you can never run from it. But you see, the grace and the strength you need has already been given to you. I am trusting God that He will give you the grace to deep into yourself and to see the opportunity in the challenge you're facing right now. Because you see, a testimony is about to break forth in that challenge. Look around you. There's creativity in that problem. There's creativity in that challenge. Don't beat yourself up. You have the strength to go through it. And one last thing I want to also say to anyone with a gift or a talent, it is not enough. There's so much more that God would want to do with that gift, with that talent. Learn, research, spend time with Him, dig deeper, acquire more knowledge. One of the things, the last thing is also when God's grace keeps you and takes you to that level that you need to go to, bear in mind that you need the wisdom to manage it. It is very important. And don't share it, don't keep it alone to yourself. Raise more people around you. Raise more people after your kind. He said you are not successful until you have successes. So I just want to say God bless you and thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm not the host. So on that note, I'm going to jump out of this place. I'm just joking.
And he has wrapped up so beautifully. Therefore, all I'll say in the words of Judith Zomelo is, whoa, great program. Love both hostess and Joe Mettle. Maron, you say opportunities in the challenges. Wow, time to look around us again. And with that, I'll just give you my quick announcements, and then we will close for this edition. And I have a great edition coming up. Our next 6 series is going to be it's going to be in partnership with the Executive Women's Network. We are doing, because May is a month that we celebrate women, mothers. We celebrate mothers. So we are doing 6 editions back to back to back, looking at the beautiful lady in your house, in your home, and we are bringing them straight into the studio and having a fantastic discussion. Don't miss, I would like to encourage you not to miss Albert's Top 10 discussion with Dr. Opoku Awari Ampoma, who is the Director General or the CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He shares his top 10 principles about what has helped him to get to the top as being the manager of Kolebu Teaching Hospital presently. Thank you, Albert, for your great work with the Hangout. And then Joseph Oscar. I never found out where that Oscar came from. When you come back next time, we'll find out
We'll
about
find
Oscar. Joseph Oscar Nii Armah Mettle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For closing the program and everything. Our production team, you are the best. God bless you. Connect with me on Facebook or Twitter, and I know that our lives will be good. You know, my handle is Comfort Ocran A. I wish to see you there, and we'll share stories there together. Till we meet next week for another fantastic program where we hang out and we dance and sing and do everything in between. Enjoy a fantastic week. God loves you. God has you not just at the back, in the palm. And you know, when you turn your palm, you see what is there. He sees you and he sees the things that he has concerning your life. I promise you, your life is going to be a great testimony. Your life, a testimony just like Joe's. Your life is going to be one that people will look at and say, indeed, God has been good to me. Until we meet again next week, have a fantastic week. God richly bless you.